So in this video, we're going to look at how to average the third, fourth, and fifth largest values from a column of numbers. So let's take a look here. We are looking at these numbers in column B. We have, let's just take a look, we have a total of 33 numbers, but it could be thousands of numbers. So we want to average the third, fourth, and fifth largest values. The normal way to do it would be like a quick, simple way. Use the large function, get the third largest, below the fourth largest, the fifth largest, all in separate cells, and then here we could just say average these three values. Now, if you haven't used large function before, a quick review is get a bunch of numbers, which is the array, comma, and the k means which largest one do you want. So here below, we're saying here's our range B13 to B45, and we want the third largest value, which is exactly the same as this one here. So what if you didn't want to use 4 different cells to do this? So here's a good way to do it. I'll click on the cell here. The red text is the same as what we have in the formula bar. So we have put those 3 independent large functions inside of one cell. So number 1 is the third largest, fourth largest, and the fifth largest values, all inside of here. And to prove it's the same numbers, I'm going to press the F9 key on the keyboard, 901. Press the F9 key again, 914, and then over here, one last time, 922. So we get the same 3 values, and then we average them together. Now I'll just press the escape key to go back to the formula. So 912.33, the same as we have here. But what if that formula is just way too long? It's hard for someone to read. What we could do is actually go with what we see here. We have these special brackets. This is called actually an array constant. So get the third, fourth, and fifth largest values via an array constant, or using an array constant. And I'll click here in the formula bar and explain what this does. See, normally the k means we can only give it one value. By default, the large function or the small function can only take one value over here. But we're sort of manipulating it a little bit, and we're using these special brackets to tell Excel it's an array constant. We're always going to get the third, fourth, and fifth largest values. We could type in, comma 6, 7, 8, 9, various ones inside of here, but they're sort of hard-coded within that array constant. So you'd have to be comfortable going in here and changing these. Now, we can make it a little more complicated. This one is actually what we see here. It's not that useful by itself, but it sort of feeds into the last formula. Because what if you didn't want someone to come in here and change these values? So we start off with something like this. Imagine if you wanted someone to click in a drop down and pick, let's say, the third, fourth, and fifth. So you pick the first and the last. If you wanted to be the third to the 10th, they would come in here and select the 10th, so they get the third, fourth, fifth, all the way up to the 10th, and then it would average all of those. So that's a little more complicated, of course, but I'll walk you through what this does. So we'll skip to the fourth step. You can see what it does here, 3 to 5, but when we go to that next step, step 4, yes, it's longer and more complex, but once you set this up, you could just allow someone to go into these 2 drop-down lists and pick the starting k value and the ending k value. And what this does, let's just highlight this whole thing, highlight the k, and press the F9 key in the keyboard. We see third, fourth, and fifth. So it's very dynamic, but you just have to be careful when you set this whole thing up. So, and the interesting thing is you could actually pick the fifth and over here the third, and it does the exact same thing. Now I wouldn't really recommend that, but third and fifth. So these arrays can do incredible things, but you do have to invest some time to sort of understand what they're doing. And one final note, when you look at, let's go back to this function here, like the row and the indirect. This is the D18 and the E18 just refer to the 2 cells here, and you're basically building the same thing that we had in step 3. You're building this 3 to 5, but we're just referring to the values in the cells like that. So hopefully this will give you some options. I mean, you can do it several different ways, but as always, I would highly recommend buying this book if you're really serious about advanced formulas. Buy Control-Shift-Enter, Mastering Array Formulas by Mike Girvin. He has the YouTube channel Excel is Fun.